Yes, sir. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is the Ant Green Show Sports Podcast. We've got all the usual suspects in the building, Kenton, Jelanie, and Harris, here to give you another great episode, some great inside takes. And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about the National Football League. We're really going to be getting into some recent acquisitions, some free agency moves, also some trending news, some things that people are talking about and, other people might want to hear and see what's going on. So we're here to give our best takes. And also we're going to get into an interesting debate regarding athletes being role models for younger kids or just as a whole. Or is it more important that they actually portray a good image in the media? Because at the end of the day, sports is a business. So without further ado, guys, we're going to get started on the athletes being role models, and then we'll trickle down into the NFL news. So, I think I'll start with Jelanie on this one here. Jelanie, I know that you, in previous episodes, we discussed, how people are portrayed in the media, but more specifically now, star players, high-level players. What are your thoughts in terms of, when they're out there on the field and then off the field, should they always maintain that good media image, or do you feel like players should just be themselves and do what they want to do?
Well, you see, the thing is that you can look at it two ways. In one way, you could see it as players should be themselves because at the end of the day, you are who you are and you shouldn't change for anybody, right? But at the same time, you should also be a role model because kids and even young adults look up to these their favorite players, right? So you gotta give off an image that is not only positive but is actually I guess you could say as very, very professional. So,
true.
Even I know this is not like not related to what you're saying, but even me as a coach, like when I go on the court, I got to portray myself as being professional because if I go out there and I'm not, being positive or whatnot, who's to say like there's kids in the stands that one day want to grow up and be a coach and, I'm giving off that image. So it all comes down to, I guess, maturity. It all comes down to professionalism and whatnot. But at the same time, you got to be yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it.
No, that's true. And you want players to be themselves because you don't want it to be like they're just doing things for the sake of doing it. Right. I don't know if Kenton, do you see things most likely the same, or is it more of like, these players are getting paid so much they might as well just do whatever they want?
Well, actually, if I'm gonna chime in on this a little bit, I think that players they shouldn't be looked at as role models, and they shouldn't be expected to be role models. The reason why I say this is because when these guys are growing up and they aspire to be professional athletes, professional basketball players, if that's the topic we're speaking about now, they don't necessarily aspire to be role models. They want to be the best at what they want to be the best at a chosen profession. That doesn't necessarily mean that they want to be a role model while they're in that position. So I think that I don't think it should be a requirement, but I do think that players and guys who can be a role model, who have that mentality, who
there's a few
can
guys
be looked up to.
Yeah,
exactly. Those guys should be commended, and you know what I mean. We should look at them in a different light, but I don't think it should be a requirement at all. I mean, and the same could be said for a lot of entertainers, famous people. A lot of people want to be, they want the benefits of being an entertainer or a professional athlete, but not all of them want to be famous. You know what I mean? So that's something to think about as well.
True. No, and I agree, man. It's, you work your whole life to become that player. You get to that position. So, you don't want an added responsibility. I completely see what you're saying. Like they deserve to basically just be themselves. And, it's not a requirement on their contract. Definitely they have to be professional, but as Jelanie mentioned, but it's not at all part of the game. Like they just go out and play the game. They win, they help the team do better. Harris, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, ultimately, like what Jelanie was touching base on, it should be, live your life and be who you want to be. I do agree with that notion, but unfortunately, it's not that easy. Perfect example of what happened the last couple of weeks. Look at Paul Pierce. But in all seriousness, like he's living his life. He's doing what he does, and keep in mind, all these NBA players do it. He was just for some reason wanted to recorded on Instagram. And look what happened. Like 2 days later, ESPN fired him and he was gone. So I think in terms of that, it's not a requirement to be a role model, of course, but I think
to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, but when you do reach that certain level, like a LeBron James or a Tom Brady, or even thinking bodybuilding like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, where people
Yeah.
are just like inspired at you and following your workouts, and you're kind of setting the bar for them, and these people are looking up to you to get that motivation for it. But the problem is, like, right now, what we're seeing in the last 48 hours is like Kyrie's been talking about his faith suddenly and how he's doing Ramadan and how he's like a big Muslim now, and kudos to him. And you know what, that is, for a lot of people, could be that motivational factor where some of the youth are gonna look at him and say, hey, like, okay, this guy, I'm a Muslim, he's a Muslim, like I can do better now, and he kind of just get inspired by it. But it's just tough to say that it shouldn't be a requirement, but when you get to that certain level, it just comes naturally.
It comes with it, yeah.
Yeah, it comes with it, and it's hard to say just be who you want to be. I mean, look at LeBron. Back when he was in Miami days, like, this guy was scrutinized for everything he did outside of basketball, and even Joel Embiid. We were getting on Joel Embiid's case last season because this guy was eating burgers and fries before the game. He's being who he wants to be, but we're picking on him. So, I mean, it's tough because we encourage these guys, or we say, live your life. But then we, like, don't get me wrong, like us, the fans, the media, we start trashing these people.
Right.
So it's a tough. But to answer, should they be role models? No, because they're playing the game of basketball. Even this whole political movement, it's great what we're seeing, Black Lives Matter and everything. And I'm not saying that you don't need to do it, but if you want to just play, like, you're playing basketball or you're playing football, that's your job. You don't need to inspire political change. Of course, if you have the platform to do it in a global audience, yes, but that's it. But I think when you get in that certain position where you're a superstar across all levels, it comes with the territory for it.
Yeah, it's a very interesting debate because you want these high level athletes to make change because they have so much influence. But at the end of the day, it's not really up to them. Like, they're out there to play and do their job. I think when it comes to the political side of things, you may not want these athletes. And I've heard, especially, I guess, LeBron James most recently, people want him to just stick to basketball because they feel like his influence, and it can go in different ways. It doesn't just mean like him talking bad about somebody, but just also his reactions to certain things will have people, their mentality kind of thinking along the same line. So, it's interesting. Hopefully kids don't, it's hard to kind of stop kids from emulating everything they see. But I think as time goes on, all the professional leagues have realized that kids are really becoming their main audience. So they're making things a lot more family friendly, I guess you could say, especially in the NBA. You can get a tech for almost anything. If you stare at a guy, if you flex too hard, I don't know, right? So they're definitely watering things down. And I think that's probably better on the league. So then that way the athletes, they kind of just have to play within the confines. So like you said, Harris, it comes with it at a certain extent. Certain athletes, I guess, have more responsibility than others in a way because they are kind of the face of the league. So you would want them to do the right thing and to, make sure that the message and how they're portrayed is good. So
and I just wanted to add one more thing quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Last season, last year, The Last Dance came out. And I don't know the full details, but in one of the episodes, there was like a black mayor that was running or something like that. And Michael Jordan's mom was really encouraging Michael Jordan to make a donation because him being black, African-American from the community, supported. Michael Jordan said, like, no, I don't get involved in that. Like, I'm playing basketball, and just because he's African-American, I'm not going to go out and support him. And to that, like, that's his choice. And I'm not hating on it. Like, Jordan's there to play basketball. He's not looking to get involved in that. And I know a lot of the people nowadays, they say, oh, Jordan wasn't involved in the politics and LeBron is. But, like, okay, maybe he's doing it behind the scenes and he's not just doing it publicly. So, he can be a role model in different ways as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I I
But you
guess.
see,
Yeah, go ahead.
but you see, another thing is that, like, sorry to touch base
No
on
worries, no worries.
what Harris was saying about Paul Pierce. Yeah, like you guys are saying that you and Kenton were saying that these professional athletes shouldn't be, role models for their, for children and whatnot. But you
No,
have
I'm
to
saying they're not
anyone, yeah.
remember,
required. I'm saying they're not required. They can be, nothing wrong with that, but they're just not, they're not, they don't have to be, if you know, that's what I meant to say. Yeah.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, even though it's not a requirement, whatnot, you have to remember everything that you do as a professional athlete. It's
Under
the
the
slightest
microscope.
thing, exactly.
Yeah.
The slightest thing you do is going to be under the microscope, like
Oh,
Rahshawn was
of
saying.
course.
So,
Yeah.
Paul Pierce, yeah, he's living his best life, whatever, but there's always consequences, to the actions that you
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
right? So it's,
Of course.
but the whole thing with LeBron, like I as much as I don't like LeBron, but I agree with the fact that him getting involved and having his say in politics and tweeting or whatever it is he's doing, I think it's good for not only for the league, but it's also good for in general.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
yeah.
Listen, we're talking about the movement because we follow basketball and we like basketball. So if they're talking about it, we're also getting some knowledge about it too. So I mean, it just opens
Yeah.
up someone who doesn't even watch the news. Let's just say they're just living in their sports world, but they see, okay, yeah, our sports leagues are talking about it. Let
Right.
me get some information about it. So yeah, of course, it's
And then you
it's
have
good.
these racist anchors that say, shut up and dribble and
Yeah,
stuff like that. It's just, this is why sometimes we, as professional athletes, they get portrayed negatively because they think that, or the media should thinks that they should just solely focus on basketball, and it's not the case.
Yeah.
In America, you used to have freedom of speech, right? So I find that everyone and anyone should be able to speak their mind. So
definitely, for sure, absolutely.
Personally, if I just want to comment quickly, I
Yeah,
think
for
it's a
sure.
bit of a double standard because you look at a guy like, for example, they want athletes to be role models. They want athletes to be, people who can, kid friendly or whatever. You know what I mean? A guy that kids can look up to. So, on one aspect, we're saying you got to be role models, but then on another aspect, we're saying shut up and dribble, or the media saying shut up and dribble. On one aspect, we're saying these guys, kids need to be able to look up to them. And then on the other aspect, a guy like Colin Kaepernick loses his job because he was taking a knee against police brutality. So, I mean, I think there's a huge double standard in this. And I think it's, it's definitely, there's a lot there's a lot left for debate. But at the end of the day, it's, I feel like if it's not fitting or if it's not working towards a certain agenda, then at that point,
okay, sorry, you were just frozen for a little bit. Sorry, continue what you're saying.
But yeah, we
no, I was just saying if it's not, I feel like if it's not catered to a certain agenda, then at that point it's seen as something that's against the grain or that's not acceptable. You know what I mean? But then we're asking these athletes to be role models. But then on the other aspect, we're trying to shut them up whenever they say or trying to deliver messages that the masses doesn't want to be delivered. I just think it's a huge double
very
standard.
good point.
Yeah.
It's hard to pinpoint exactly whether it should or shouldn't be, but at the end of the day, and I really like what Jelanie said, not to discredit what you were saying, Kenton, but when you are a professional athlete, football player, soccer player, basketball player, baseball player, you could be at the top of your game, but you're always in the media. So the things that you say, you have to either not be public about what you're doing and just kind of say it when you say it and then go on. But as soon as you start getting in more and more involved, you have to be careful because you are that caliber of a player. Everybody's going to look at you and say, well, you're the face of the league. Your thoughts and your opinions now may influence other people. And if, the media doesn't want that, then now there becomes tension and it's like Kenton said, now just, there's people that are going to say, just shut up and dribble. But then the other side of people are like, well, LeBron, we look up to you. We respect your game and we respect what you've done. So we would value your opinion. Very hard to decide exactly whether it's right or wrong. I would like, the audience, if you want, please chime in and give us some of your take in the comment section. Let us know if you think that one way or the other, should athletes be role models because at the end of the day, they're there and it comes with the territory, or the media, the way they portray them, they might as well just do what they want because they reached a level where, they worked their whole life. Might as well enjoy it while you can, as long as you're not being disrespectful and blatantly, just not unprofessional in nature. So I guess we'll wait to see how that all plays out as time goes on. But please let us know what you guys think about everything. So switching gears now, we're going into the NFL 2021-2022 season, guys. This is going to be an interesting season because we have some teams that are really hungry to get to the final, but we also have other teams that may not have enough and still might be moving backwards in terms of a rebuilding process. So some of the trending news, of course, has been some of the players now that aren't really in favor of the New Jersey number association, where your position has to be based on a certain number. And then there's also really in the news just new faces and new places. So I guess we'll start with Harris on this one. What do you like and what are you seeing really in terms of the 2021-2022 NFL season?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I think one thing that stood out to me, no, I was not going to say I'm too surprised about it, because I think in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, they've only had, I think, like literally 8 or 9 coaches. So Mike Tomlin got a contract renewal, and I think we all watched here what happened when the Browns rolled over them in the wild card round. So not surprised, honestly. Yeah, not surprised. I think Tomlin's always been model of consistency, and I think Roethlisberger still gets along.
Still got some left in the tank.
Yeah, and he hasn't lost the locker room yet, or at least I don't think. So yeah, I wasn't surprised. It was just again, it's tough to say. Like, wasn't surprised, but when I saw it, I was like, wow. So I guess they're rolling with Tomlin. So that was number one. And then the second thing was I actually want to get the input of the other guys in this chat as well, in this podcast, with Deshaun Watson and all these allegations that came out against him, because I was reading a lot into it, and people are thinking that maybe it's part of the Texans organization that could be just spitting these cases and stories to kind of smear his reputation. And honestly, I'm not gonna rule it out. I think it's very possible the way he's kind of thrown the organization under the bus. It could very well, it could very well just be, let's just attack this guy personally and ruin his image. And I think, what are we, like the April, and then training camp's going to start in July or August, and this guy doesn't have a team yet, so it's tough to say what's going to go on with that case. And then of course you got the NFL draft that's coming up on Thursday. That's excited for that. I really want to see what.
NFL draft. It's good. It's a lot of young, promising prospects coming in this NFL draft for next Thursday on the 29th.
Yeah, and actually I wanted to ask Kenton, and then maybe Jelanie can chime in, because I know number 3 on the draft board is the 49ers, and obviously Trevor Lawrence won't be available by then. But I'm just thinking, are the 49ers officially done with Garoppolo, or are they going to give him another chance, or do you think that they're going to take a QB, or what do you guys think on that?
Interesting.
Personally, I think.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Personally, I think the 49ers are going to go and grab a quarterback. I don't think they would have moved into the top 5 of the draft if that wasn't their intention. I personally feel like Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, although he's a great quarterback, problem is he's never available. He's always injured. A guy like that, I mean, if you can't rely on your quarterback to be present or your quarterback to be available, then what good is he really? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a guy like Mac Jones is probably going to be taken by the 49ers. I was hoping for, Justin Fields to be
that's the guy from Ohio State, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was seeing some of his. Yeah, I thought he might. But sorry, just to cut you off, like all this hype when Garoppolo came, I think they went 6-0 to finish the season, and then like the next season had that deep playoff run, lost to the Chiefs, and now it's been less than 3 years, and it's just weird how the nature of the business goes.
I mean, it's true, but at the same time, I mean, if you look at all those stretches where he looked great, I mean, those are pretty much the only games he's been available for. I mean, aside from that, I mean, he played in the Super Bowl. Aside from those short stretches of games, it's like he hasn't even been there. You're right. Same thing with the New England Patriots. When Tom Brady, that year that Tom Brady was suspended, Jimmy Garoppolo actually started in place of Tom Brady, and he got injured before Tom Brady could even get back. So I mean, this is repeat history here. This guy cannot stay healthy.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, I think they need to move on because at this point, if you can't rely on your quarterback to be there, then what good is he on the team, right?
For sure. And Jelanie, do you think Trevor Lawrence will go with the number 1 pick to the Jaguars, or?
Oh, for sure. Jaguars' glaring need is the quarterback position, so no doubt. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to go number 1. What you were saying before about Jimmy G and the 49ers, I agree with Kenton and what he's saying. No team trades up in the top 10 and not to take a quarterback. So obviously, I think Garoppolo is going to get moved. Where is he going to go? I think a team like Chicago desperately need a quarterback. So I think Chicago would take anything at this point. So
for real.
I think Garoppolo comes with like a $25 million cap hit, but
Hey, they got Andy Dalton.
Well, yeah, they have Dalton, they have Foles, but if you have a chance to take Jimmy G, you're gonna take Jimmy G. So
no, for sure.
Even an under Jimmy G, Chicago firepower. You need to get something going there, and you can't just hope that these guys have miracle seasons because the competition is getting tougher, the bar is getting raised. Rookies are coming in and they're making their mark. So, you have to continually every year always get better on your previous year. You can never really stay at a standstill or hope to get at a previous season's record. Like you can't be breaking even anymore if you want to have a chance at making it to the finals. So interesting to see how the draft will play out, because I know Trevor Lawrence, Jaguars, that just seems like the perfect fit, as Jelanie was saying. Any other thoughts, guys, regarding, I guess, free agency moves so far? Any potential places?
I just want to mention the last thing before I let Kenton and Jelanie continue. I think all of us here, because we love sports so much, whether it's football, basketball, even hockey, because I don't mind watching hockey at all. Like the draft is always great for sports fans. I love the draft. I think even if you haven't really followed the college rankings, you just get caught up on draft weekend. There's always the analysis happening. So it's a good time. Looking forward to next week's 3-2 during a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it's just something to look forward to, especially now with not much going on. But it's always fun to watch the draft. So I'm looking forward to watching that and seeing what kind of input we can give on it on next episode as well. And just to touch quickly, Joe, Rahshawn, on your number thing. Me and Kenton were talking about it pre-air. So from what I took from it was wide receivers can wear between numbers 1 and 49 and 80 to 89. And D linemen can choose between 50 and 79 and 90 to 99. And linebackers can also choose between 90 to 99 and 1 to 59, all that. I really don't know why the reason was behind it. I don't know. I'm not really going to get too much into it, but I just think it's nonsense. I mean, it's let your players choose whatever numbers they want. And I think numbers are a very special thing too. I think all of us, even in our Brookwood days, we always chose a number that meant something to us. So
I know what you mean.
And if you can't get that number, I'm not going to say it ruins it, but it just kind of puts a downward effect on it. So, I mean, a number special for a lot of these people could mean a birthday or anything, something personal. And now that you're kind of limited that, it's I don't know why the NFL did it. I'd have to see more into it, but I wasn't a big fan of the news.
I think. Go ahead, Ken.
I think the idea behind it was to kind of like loosen the restrictions on the numbers, because right now basically we have like receivers, I believe, can only wear from 10 to 19, and then 80 to 89.
Okay.
I think the idea behind it was to allow players to use like their college numbers. Like the one that I thought of was CD Lamb, for example. He wears number 88, but he wore number 2 in college. And that was the number that he wanted to wear going to the NFL, but he had to switch it. So a guy like him could potentially come in now and change his number back to number 2.
Okay, so that's good. I didn't know that. So in that case, for sure.
Like Ezekiel Elliott as well. I think he wore number like 50. Even linebackers, I think they can change up their numbers. But apparently there were some talks about Tom Brady not liking the whole idea.
When Tom Brady speaks, Everyone,
Yeah.
everyone listens.
The world listens.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, seems to be doing okay as is. I mean, I don't think a different number on a different player is going to change much for him. Maybe it'll, in terms of like scheming and coverages and whatnot. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're not really looking at a player's number. You're looking at a player because that particular player can be, can
Right.
change the game up. So
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he was just trying to poke fun at the NFL for doing it. But we'll
But
see.
right now, is there any limitations to what numbers quarterbacks can wear, or can quarterbacks wear whatever they want?
Yeah, I just have an article here that I was pulling up, and this is what Tom Brady had actually posted. I think it was on his Instagram, and as Kenton was saying, he was upset at the fact that the numbers are changed, but he was saying that more from the perspective of being able to block the right people. I guess more the backs, or I guess the tackles, offensive linemen, they visualize the numbers a little bit better, but the quarterbacks, the punters, and the place kickers could choose a number between 1 and 19. The defensive backs is 1 to 49. I've sent it to all of you guys, but essentially here, folks, what it means is that the jersey numbers are based by position. And as Kenton was mentioning, Tom Brady was a little upset at that because he was saying now, good luck trying to block the right people because, it's going to make for bad football. I don't 100% agree. I think at the end of the day, you show up to play. Somebody could be wearing whatever number jersey. Maybe he means that more for the offensive line. But sorry, Kenton. I just wanted to mention that there was a reasoning behind the NFL going with jersey numbers by position.
And to be honest with you, I mean, to me, I find it's funny that Tom Brady's complaining. I mean, out of all people on the football team, he's the last person to be worrying about blocking anybody. I mean, let's be realistic here. You know what I mean? Like, how many times has he thrown a block in his career? You know what I mean? What does it mean to him?
He's just looking to sit back, relax, and he wants to get the best out of everything. So, interesting. I guess the NFL's trying some new things, right? Like the NBA, especially, they're definitely going to be doing some interesting stuff when it comes to the play-in tournament. It's going to add a lot more hype. I'm not sure really if this is going to add hype to the NFL. I think, maybe players, as Kenton said, will be able to wear old numbers, high school, college numbers, which is pretty cool. And, if you're a fan of that player, then, buying their jersey is going to mean a little bit more to you. So maybe jersey sales are down. Maybe they're trying to get some type of marketing campaign going on for the NFL. But,
And also, do you guys know if it's next year, it's expanding to 17 games, or is that not concluded yet?
No, it's happening this year. This season.
Okay. I heard of that.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people.
So the 8-8 Cowboys may be a little bit different this year. You know what I mean? They're so used to it's always 8-8 for the Cowboys. They may actually be I don't know. Maybe they'll have to have a different record than 8-8 this year. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I'm okay with the extra week. Honestly, I feel like
definitely.
Sacred. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I know a lot of players weren't happy with it, but I don't know. I think you can. You can do the squeeze out the one more game for sure.
Jelanie, what do you think about the 17 games? You liking it? You liking the format?
Yeah,
of course, this guy's liking it. His Eagles can make it now.
Let's slow the roll here. I mean, the extra game's not going to help the Philadelphia Eagles this season. So let's call a spade here.
Yeah,
Roger that.
Yeah, well, you know what? We all have teams we like that sometimes they just need a little bit more to get into the picture. No, but you know what? Like as time goes on, teams get better. Hopefully they get lucky, because sometimes it's not about skill, it's about luck. You just right place, right time.
Yeah.
And injuries is a part of the game. I'm not one to hope players get injured at all, but sometimes key players on other teams go down, and the next thing you know, the Eagles win the division. Maybe not. But all I'm saying is they definitely have some work to do. And I'll just leave it at that. So interesting to see how that 2021-2022 season plays out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. So far we are at the midway point, and we are about to get into the toss-up speed round. I did forget to mention this at the beginning, but as we've always been doing, this is going to be an NFL toss-up speed round, and we're going to have 5 questions, each at 2 minutes long. So These questions are going to be a combination of some of the best case scenarios and also some would you choose this or that type questions. We're going to go around to each co-host and give them each 2 minutes for NFL speed round toss-up questions. So guys, again, you guys know how the story goes. I'm going to ask you the question. You're going to have 2 minutes to answer it. No right or wrong answer. You just give your take and feel like, whichever opinion, wherever you feel that you want to gravitate more to, let your opinion be heard. And we'll just kind of go from there. So we'll start this off with Jelanie. So this is the NFL toss-up speed question number 1. Jelanie, are you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. So if you were to choose the best wide receiver from this group of receivers, past and we have present, hopefully, but we'll double check on that. So we have Larry Fitzgerald, Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice, or Randy Moss. Best receiver from this group. You have 2 minutes starting now.
Wow.
Ooh.
Take your time because these are some big names. Fitzgerald, Owens, Rice, or Moss. If you were a coach, if you were a GM, who would you want to have in their prime is a better way to put it.
Okay, so I'm stuck between 2 guys, and I'm going to tell you why. Number 1, I'm going to have to go with Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice, best receiver all time, hands down.
Amen.
Barely drops a ball, like Jerry Rice, fastest receiver to even get off the line, So me personally, I would take Jerry Rice, number 1. Number 2, I'm going to have to go with Terrell Owens. And I'm going to T.O. because
what a surprise.
He's just
sadly not agreeing with Jelanie. But go on.
He's physically built, and this guy was like one of the best receivers to ever play the game. But at the same time, as a coach, it would be hard to coach him because of the way he is. But just
if you wanted him,
T.O. is T.O., So I'm gonna have to go with those 2 guys.
Awesome, cool, appreciate that, Jelanie. We'll swing over to Kenton. I know Harris is just bubbling. He's just ready to go with his answer, but we'll go with Kenton because I know Kenton's gonna always give some type of interesting perspective. But I know Harris is ready right out the gun. Kenton, best receiver or if you were a coach and GM, who would you choose? Larry Fitz, T.O., Jerry Rice, or the one and only Moss. 2 minutes starting now. Go.
You know what? It's funny because out of all 4 of those receivers, I have Jerry Rice. Even though he's probably statistically he's number 1, I have him as number 3 on my list. I'm gonna have to go with number 1. I'm gonna have to go with it's a tie. It's close. I'm gonna have to say Randy Moss.
Number 1.
Moss
is 1. Okay.
It's a close second, but I'm gonna have to say Terrell Owens. Then I'm gonna have to go with Jerry Rice, and I'll tell you why. Statistically, Jerry Rice, the best receiver of all time. But you look at the quarterbacks he's played with. He started off his career with Joe Montana, Hall of Fame quarterback. Then went on to Steve Young, Hall of Fame quarterback.
True.
He spent the majority of his career with Hall of Fame quarterbacks. You look at T.O., the man made Jeff Garcia look like a Hall of Fame quarterback, all right? Okay?
Jeff Garcia.
He went to Philadelphia.
Oh,
he went to Philadelphia. He practically, on one foot, almost won the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, all right? He went to the Dallas Cowboys. He was a top-tier wide receiver with the Dallas Cowboys. And every scenario that T.O. has played in, he's always dominated.
Made his
right?
mark, yes.
Went to Cincinnati when Ocho Cinco was there. Became the Batman to his Robin. All right? And that was Ocho's team. All right? Now, on to Randy Moss. Listen, there's a reason why there's an expression named after the guy. You got Moss, there's a reason for that. All right? In my opinion, best receiver. He's played with some great quarterbacks himself, but you look at the athleticism, the speed, the size, catching ability. He's second to none in my opinion.
And how many rings?
Hey,
you know what? You know what? You look at that entire list. How many players on that list have rings? How many players on that list have rings? And also, Johnny, to your point, how many of those players played with Hall of Fame quarterbacks practically throughout most of their
No,
career?
you're right. I'm just throwing a little jab. That's all.
Hey, it's all good, man. If you feel like what he's saying, something ain't sitting right, you got to let him know. And you're right.
Now, listen, I agree. Jerry Rice, best receiver of all time. But if you're asking me, these are the guys that I'm going to go with.
Yeah, respect.
All right, we're going to swing it over to Harris. Harris, I know you've been waiting patiently. We got 2 minutes here for you, Harris. Best wide receiver from this group: Fitzgerald, Owens, Rice, or Moss.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Kenton nailed it. You got to go with hot sauce Moss, number one. Yeah, Moss. This guy is the deep threat, man. Yeah, watching Moss was something special.
Yeah.
So I'm putting him at number one again. Jerry Rice, obviously, I agree. Forget greatest wide receiver, arguably the greatest NFL player of all time as a whole. But number two, I got to go with Larry Fitzgerald.
Jeez.
Yeah, and the reason I say that because Kenton had a good point. He's talking about the quarterbacks that Rice played with. Let's look at the quarterbacks Larry Fitzgerald played with. Jeff Blake, give me a break. Eric Anderson, Matt Lino. Aside from Kurt Warner, I mean, some of these names. Josh McCown, who's God knows has played on all 32 NFL teams. So when you take that into account, Larry Fitzgerald, this guy has been consistent. I think he hasn't missed less than 13 games throughout his 15 or 16-year career that he's been playing. So if I'm building a team, I'm going with Moss, taking Fitzgerald number two. I'm taking Rice, and then I'm taking Owens. Owens I like, but I just find you're getting too much. I know he's giving you results, but you're getting too much of that drama that's coming.
Antics.
It's entertainment.
Yeah, it's entertainment.
That's entertainment. Why not?
Of course. No, don't get me wrong. I know this guy brings the results. Like Kenton said, no matter where he went.
Love me some me.
Dallas, get the but that's my top four. To round it up again is Moss, Fitzgerald, Rice, and Owens. But great question, man. Great into it.
Yeah, man. No, these guys. Sometimes we forget, how dominant these players are. But and there were so many that I left off the list, but I feel like these guys really hit home, and I like the way that you guys were able to kind of get those answers across. All right, so next question. We got 4 more left, and again, guys, remember we got 2 minutes per question. We'll start with Harris on this one. You have the ball on the 1 yard line, and you need a touchdown to win the Super Bowl. These are the backs that you have to go with. Jerome Bettis.
The
bus. Adrian Peterson. Derrick Henry. Or Marshawn Lynch, beast mode. 2 minutes, ball on the 1 yard line. Who you giving the ball to and why?
I don't need 2 minutes. Before you even asked the question or gave your answers, I already had my answer. The bus, number 36. Jerome
Bettis.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Bettis.
Adrian Peterson, Henry, beast mode.
Yeah,
not enough.
Great respect to the other three that you named. But 1 yard line, I need that power. I need that push through. I'm going with Jerome Bettis. Keeping it simple for that one. No question.
We got you. All right. Perfect. We got you at Bettis. Cool. We'll swing it over to Kenton. Kenton, same question. Ball on the 1 yard line. Bettis, AP, Derrick Henry, or beast mode Lynch. You got 2 minutes if you need it. Go.
I only need 10 seconds. Straight up. 6'3", 240 plus pounds. Give the ball to Derrick Henry. The man is bigger than NFL linebackers. All right? The man is bigger on the 1 yard line. Are you kidding me? Give the ball to Derrick Henry. Forget about Jerome Bettis.
Nice.
Because I need that speed. I need that speed if I need to go. If I got to turn the corner, I can give that ball to Derrick Henry. I need that speed. So give the ball to Derrick Henry. Let him run over a couple mans, stiff arm, and in the end zone it is.
I like that. And you know what? You're right. I'm not taking anything away from Harris because Jerome Bettis has the power to push your team through. But exactly what Kenton said, you need the speed. You need a little bit more of agility, some lateral quickness, and then that stiff arm, because you don't know. The play could break down. The bus, hey, the wheels on the bus might go round and round, or a wheel might fall off. So So, good.
Yo,
Good.
I'm on the
question,
1 yard
good
line.
answer.
If that inside hole closes up, I know Derrick Henry has that speed to kick it to the outside and make a play out
Jerome
there.
Bettis has that stomach that can just.
Yeah,
Hey, you can't do nothing with 6'3", 240. That's all I gotta say. There's a reason why they call the man King Henry. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Nice. I like that, Kenton. All right, cool. So Jelanie, final guy for this question. Ball on the 1 yard line. Jerome Bettis, Adrian Peterson, Derek Savage Henry, or Marshawn Lynch. 2 minutes. Go.
Sorry, I don't need 2 minutes. I'll take 5 seconds. I'm going with the bus, Jerome.
The bus. And any reason in particular over the Beast, Marshawn, Beast Mode, Henry, and AP? Any reason in particular?
He's just so built. He's just too big.
He's just gonna get you the touchdown.
That's
questions
it.
asked.
No questions asked. Like,
and the reason I didn't want to take Peterson just quickly is this guy's always had the fumbling issues, right? So I'm kind of nervous at the 1 yard line giving this guy the ball.
Those are excellent choices, though. Excellent choices.
Yeah.
Those are all great running backs for sure.
Yeah. Both questions honestly have been rock solid.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And you know what? You're right. AP, a little bit of a fumbleina, but the thing is, in his prime, man, we're really forgetting what his guy has done.
Oh, yeah.
However, if you have to choose between these people, I can't deny Jerome Bettis. But, I really like Kenton's answer with Derrick Henry. So great questions all around, guys. Third question. We're keeping it rolling here, guys. Best trash. Okay, so we'll start with Jelanie here. The best trash talkers. Which generation has had the best trash talkers in the NFL? The past or the present? So best trash talkers. Is it from the past or the present? And if you know any good trash talkers, you could bring it up to solidify your answer. So you got 2 minutes. Go.
I'm going to have to go with current, actually.
The present, okay.
Yeah. Specifically, I like Terrell Owens. Like, he just stands out as like one of the best trash talkers ever. So I'm going with T.O. I'm going to go with Draymond Green is another one. Who else is there?
So you think a lot of the better trash talkers came like most recently, like not really like I'm saying like maybe 10 years, 10, 20 years ago I would really call that the past, but like 10 years or less is really the present. So you're saying that right now is the best time for trash talkers.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's more exposed now compared to back then. So yeah, obviously I'm going to go with now.
Okay. Cool. We'll swing it over to Kenton here. Kenton, best trash talkers. Which generation takes the cake? Is it the past or is it present? 2 minutes starting now. Go.
All right. So yeah, top trash talkers of all time. Definitely you have to throw Shannon Sharp in there. Steve Smith. Ocho Cinco. Ocho Cinco was a great trash talker, man. This guy would literally go up to guys and literally just troll them. You know what I mean? Have conversations like, hey, how's wife and kids? And then burn them for 150 yards. You know what I mean? So definitely those guys are up there. Who are we looking at? Yeah, so I definitely have to go with the past players. Past players, it was a lot better, man. The trash talk was good. I mean, these days, a lot of guys don't really, I don't know. I mean, they don't really promote it like that, but I know back in the day, the trash talk was was on another level, especially in the NFL.
Yep. No, I hear you, man. I love the past trash talkers. Trash talking is a great part of the game. It's as long as it doesn't get too overboard, definitely tends to hype things up. I'll let Harris finish off this question. So Harris, best trash talkers from which generation, either the past or the present? 2 minutes starting now.
Yeah, for me personally, I would just say this present, just because what I'm used to seeing in the last couple of years. You talk about Richard Sherman and Darrelle Revis always chirping at each other through social media. And even Revis, when he was playing in prime time, he was telling you who's coming to Revis Island with him. He's trash talking the wide receiver, and he's telling him in advance, you're not going to catch anything on me tonight. And again, coming back to Sherman too, I think it was against Crabtree when he had that whole rant about a sorry receiver and everything in between that. So I think just you always have, but don't forget the past also had great trash talking primetime. Deion Sanders, he was also great at running his mouth. Goes both ways, but I just seeing what I've watched recently in the last couple of years. I would just say the present has had some good trash talking feuds, and people just they're running their mouth. And I think I don't know who it was this year, but then someone was trash talking with Hopkins and claiming to have shut him down. I don't know who it was. So
Jalen Ramsey.
Okay, yeah, was it Jalen Ramsey? Yeah, so they were having a little
Probably,
thing,
Yeah,
and then
probably.
they were going against each other. So those little kind of things are fun too. And then there was a clip a couple of years ago which has gone viral now when Cam Newton's at the line of scrimmage and he's telling them you've been watching film.
Oh,
And then,
wheel route. He's like, oh, you've been watching film? Cool, watch this. Ready, touchdown.
so little
That was
things like
on
that.
Clay Matthews. That was on Clay
There you go.
Matthews.
Yeah. So little things like that. So yeah, I would say the present for me is where it's been.
That clip, by the way, that Cam Newton clip, please, if you haven't watched it, the best. Clay Matthews called his play out, and then he just still ended up pulling it off. Great play, great trash talk in return. All right, so we got two more questions, guys. You guys are doing great. So we'll start with Harris on this one. So you need a game-winning touchdown. I don't care where you are, home, away, Super Bowl. Game-winning touchdown. You have these four quarterbacks. Which quarterback do you want to throw a game-winning touchdown? Tom Brady, can't deny it. A-Rod, Aaron, Patrick Mahomes, or Russell Wilson? So Harris, we'll start with you. 2 minutes. So I'll repeat the
these
names
are all
again.
great quarterbacks.
Yeah,
all
Brady,
great
Mahomes. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing with all these four quarterbacks is all of them can play in the weather. So I was going to say if you threw Breeze in there, I would have probably eliminated that, but that's tough. But I think if with a winning touchdown, game on the line, man, as much as I hate to say it, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, damn.
Yeah, just because
over Mahomes, Russ, Rodgers.
Yeah, it's just like I love Russell. Out of that four quarterbacks, I love Russell Wilson the most, but just go brace with Brady based on experience. He's been there. If next year if I'm a GM and they throw me on the field and say, "Yo, we need a game-winning drive," you got one of these four quarterbacks. I'm taking a 44 or whatever he is, 45 Tom Brady to get me down the field and get me a touchdown. So that's who I would take.
So game-winning drive, Tom Brady. That goes for Harris. All right, I got you for that. Kenton, will swing it over to you. You got a game-winning drive. You need a game-winning touchdown. You got Brady, Mahomes, Rodgers, and Russell Wilson. Who are you choosing? 2 minutes starting now. Go.
All right. Well, they're first and foremost all great quarterbacks. So I'm gonna have to go through process of elimination here. Russell Wilson, I think it was Super Bowl 49. Third and goal. Malcolm Butler, interception, loss, eliminated from the conversation. Aaron Rodgers, first and goal within the 10, NFC Championship, couldn't get a touchdown, eliminated from the conversation. Pat Mahomes, I haven't seen you do it yet. I've seen you win a Super Bowl, but I haven't seen you come through in a clutch. It's always been a blowout, eliminated from the conversation. Tom Brady is the guy that I'm going to be going to.
Damn. Love the way that question was answered, and the proof was in the pudding. Mind you, this is all based on your opinion, right? You definitely use some facts to back your opinion. But hey, you can't deny it. Tom Brady's been there, so great answer, great choice. Jelanie will finish the round with you. Game-winning touchdown. You got Brady, Mahomes, A-Rod, or Aaron Rodgers, or Russell Wilson. 2 minutes. Go.
Come on, Jelanie, don't mess it up, man. Just be simple.
No, honestly, all great quarterbacks, but I agree with Kenton. Russell Wilson's definitely out of the conversation. But I'm gonna have to go with Aaron Rodgers because when he's out of that pocket, he just throws it up, and it always seems to be against the Dallas Cowboys. So he always seems to be making that throw, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Aaron Rodgers.
But look what happened with Aaron Rodgers against Tampa Bay.
Oh,
he had three chances in the fourth quarters, and all three of them went 3 and outs.
Hey, Jelanie.
Come on, this guy couldn't even get them.
Relax, Chicago. Relax. You'll get a quarterback this year. Relax.
I don't know about Rodgers, but anyways, it's your opinion.
I agree with Harris. You don't have to go back far into time to see Aaron Rodgers in that situation and not get the job done. Not to say that he's a better.
He just throws it up there and he still make the catch. Like, come on, guys. I know you've seen the highlights. Come on.
Oh, I remember that. I remember against the Dallas Cowboys, that throw he made to Jared Cook on the sideline that only Aaron Rodgers could make. And that was a highlight play of his career. But at the same time, we go back to the NFC Championship. What have you done for me lately? First and goal, you couldn't get a touchdown to tie the game. You lost. That's it.
I hear you.
That's it.
Hey.
Good questions, though, Rahshawn. Good question.
Yeah, no worries, man. So we got the last question here. So nothing too crazy, just to kind of finish out the round. We got Kenton back. All right, cool. So we'll start with Jelanie to finish out the toss-up speed round here. Which are the best two teams to make it to the Super Bowl this upcoming season? So one from the NFC, one from the AFC. Surprise teams, underrated teams that people might not think will make it, but they might have enough to make it for this season coming up. So one from each side. Jelanie, we'll start with you. 2 minutes. Go.
Surprise teams? Okay, so in the AFC, I'm going to have to go with Miami. Yeah,
Nice,
Miami. I like Miami's chances, especially with what they addressed in the draft. They need a couple pieces there, but I think Miami has what it takes to make it. Mind you, they were 10-6 last year, so yeah, Miami's going to be my pick for the AFC, and in the NFC, oh man, that's a tough one.
Hey man, you never know, right? It could be anybody's year. I know we know the usual suspects, but I'm really looking to see surprise teams, because then we're going to follow up on this and see how these surprise teams stack up when the season starts, and then how they execute once the season is underway. So we got you for Miami, and then we're missing one now.
This is going to be a wild one. I'm going to have to probably go with I'll go with Atlanta.
Atlanta. All right.
I'm going to go to Atlanta.
All right.
ATO.
Well, we'll see.
Surprise there. Jeez.
We'll see how those.
Maybe you know something about the draft we don't, but hey.
Well, we got you down. We're looking for surprise teams, and according to Jelanie, he believes that it's Miami Dolphins, Atlanta Falcons that might make it. So, Jelanie, we'll follow up on that and appreciate your answer. We'll swing it to Kenton here. Kenton, 2 minutes. You got two teams to choose, one NFC, one AFC. Which underrated surprise teams might make it to the Super Bowl this season? 2 minutes starting now. Go.
Underrated surprise teams. I don't know if it'd be a surprise, but I think the Baltimore Ravens might be able to make it out there. Not to say that I think they will be there or they're not my first choice, but I mean, as a surprise team, I think they can make it up there. You're looking at the NFC.
I like that.
So I got Baltimore in the AFC as a surprise team, and in the NFC, I'm going to have to go with, as a surprise team, I'm going to have to say the 49ers. If you look at their team, they're 2 years removed from the Super Bowl. The difference between that team and the team that didn't make the playoffs last year were the injuries. Aside from that, most of the guys are coming back. So I think they have a pretty good shot at making it back to the Super Bowl if we're looking at teams that may surprise.
Yeah, no, it's very well possible, man. And so we have, you said the Ravens and Niners?
Yep. Yeah, I got the Ravens and the Niners.
Ravens and the Niners. That'd be a pretty cool Super Bowl, man. Like, it's nice to see different teams. And, you never know, right? The roster they have, certain things happen throughout the course of the season. They start to catch a good streak. You never know what could happen. So we'll see how those two teams play out. And I'll leave this last one here to Harris. Harris, to finish out the speed round, to finish out the co-host round. We got two teams, one from the AFC, one from the NFC. Which teams, surprise teams, you got going? 2 minutes.
Yeah, for the NFC, I think Kenton will like this answer. The gunslinger himself, Matthew Stafford in the Rams.
Oh,
yeah, because the Rams have always had that. Bro, the Rams had that defense.
It could be worse. He could have said Atlanta.
Okay, listen, the Rams won 10-6. Now you've added a quarterback that brings the ball forward, not backwards, in Goff, and so the defense is always there. And you went 10-6, so I think that could be my surprise team for the NFC to make it there. Because the last time the Rams had a high-powered offense, they were in the Super Bowl with Todd Gurley and those boys. So that's my pick for the NFC. And in the AFC, it's Jelani's ex-favorite boy, Carson Wentz, leading the Colts. The Colts went 11-5.
Interesting.
With
Okay.
Phillip Rivers. Yeah, and I think now
If he can
with
stay
Carson
healthy.
Wentz, if he's healthy, of course, he can get them. They were 11-5. They can easily get one more win, 12-4, even 13-3, and they could have a good run in the playoffs as well. So those would be my two surprise teams: the Colts and the Rams.
Colts and the Rams. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are definitely going to follow up on some of these teams. Could it be Atlanta? Could it be the Rams? Could it be the Ravens? Hey, won't be mad at that. Or could it be the Miami Dolphins, the 49ers? There's so many crazy teams that could potentially make it there. But we're going to follow up and let you know how that all plays out. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the Ant Green Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure to follow all of the co-hosts. All of their social tags are right at the bottom. They got some good stuff going on in their personal life situations. Feel free to check them out. Feel free to talk with them and get your opinion right directly from them. And of course, if you haven't done it already, follow the Ant Green Show on all social media platforms. Subscribe, like, comment, and share with a friend. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode. We will be back for more, as today we touched on the NFL news, also some star role players in all leagues. And next episode, we'll get into a little bit more NFL and also get into some NBA action. Stay tuned for more, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. Peace for now.